to Spilling the Reality with Trisha and Kylie, where we have special guest tonight, Lio Rush from MTV's The Challenge Double Agent Season 36. And we are so excited to sit down and spill all the tea with Lio as he talks about his time on the challenge. And if you have been keeping up with the show, you know that he recently left the show, not due to an elimination. So we are excited to chat with him about that and get his take on the season so far and what's coming up. So Lio, welcome.
How you guys doing? Thank you so much for having me on here.
We're so glad to have you. So, whoa, what a season so far. It's like every episode it's just full of drama, craziness. We expect nothing less from MTV. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself. We know that you do the WWE, and that kind of put a pause because of COVID. So, tell us about you.
For those that aren't familiar with your backstory and just know you're the show.
For sure. So for those of you who might not know who I am, or I'm pretty sure you do know who I am because you've watched the challenge, but my name is Lio, also known as Lio Rush. I've been a professional wrestler for the past 6 years. I've been underneath the WWE for 3. I was recently released from the company due to the pandemic and their budget cuts or whatever they decided to release me for. I am a family man. I'm married. I have 2 boys. I have another boy on the way. I am also a recording artist. I feel like I do a lot of things. I'm gonna keep like just going on and on and on about things that I'm doing. But yeah, I'm pretty passionate about, whatever I do, anything that I do, I want to, put my all into, and I want to be the best at everything that I do. So I'm pretty passionate. I'm a pretty passionate person, and I'm dedicated and to my craft and everything. So I'm pretty sure we'll go into more things about me during this interview. But yeah, that's pretty much a little introduction for you.
All right, cool. So I read your statement that you released on your Instagram after this past episode. And, you talked about how your release from the WWE was kind of sudden. And you were kind of like, okay, well, what's next? So how did it come about with you ending up on the challenge? Like, have you been a fan or?
Yeah, I was a fan. Funny thing, when somebody reached out to me from MTV, I didn't know what show they were really talking about because being on television myself, I didn't really, I don't have much time to, watch TV, and like my schedule is so crazy that I'm always like on the road. And if I am watching TV, I'm always just like watching my matches to like study my own work and stuff like that. So I wasn't aware of the name, but once they sent me a link of what the show was, and I realized that this was like Real World Road Rules, like the show that I used to watch when I was younger, like with my sisters. So I was like, holy crap, like this is awesome. And I guess that, they just kind of like chopped the name, and this now just the challenge. So yeah, I was released from the WWE back in April of 2020. And shortly after, maybe about a little less than a month later, MTV reached out to me and, said that they saw my situation. They saw that, I got released, and I'm kind of like sitting at home right now. And if I was interested in being a part of a reality TV show on MTV called The Challenge. And, I jumped at the opportunity.
Yeah, that's so cool.
What did your wife think? Was she like, yeah, Lio, like go do this? Or, I think with the timing, she may have like just become pregnant or very early in her pregnancy. Like how what were her thoughts?
So when I first got the news, we actually didn't know that she was pregnant at the time. So it was, I think we were both just so confused at just the situation, like that we were in, and the craziness that was going on in the world, and the uncertainty of what was next for us. And once MTV reached out to me, it was kind of like a no-brainer. I really had no clue what I was going to do next. I was kind of stuck. So when there was an opportunity to be on TV again, and this time, for something that had nothing to do with wrestling, I was really excited. She was pretty excited. And she's always been, super supportive of anything that I wanted to do. And if I had any doubt, she always, like reassured me and like pushed me, and said that, I'm going to do good. So, that definitely helped me with making the decision of being on the challenge.
Yeah. So once you got into the house and you are around all of these crazy people, like, everyone has such a big personality. And how did that, was it an immediate thing of you're like, okay, like this isn't quite, like what I'm used to?
Or is it what you're used to?
I think I'm used to like the egos and the big characteristics and stuff like that. And because of wrestling, wrestlers have these like larger than life like personalities, and so I was pretty used to it with that. I don't think it caught me by surprise too much because I had some time to look back on like seasons before season 36, and I saw a lot of people that I was familiar with once I got in the house. Because when I was quarantining and stuff like that, I know a lot of people at home were like looking at the rumors and seeing who was going to possibly be on the show. But, for the people that were quarantining, we didn't know who was going to make it like on the show. We were just kind of like stuck in our own room. So I was just watching as many seasons as I could just to try to remember some faces. And once I got in the house, I was like, oh yeah, I saw him in last season, stuff like that. And it was definitely interesting though, the different amount of characters that was in the house.
Yeah. So who were you most excited to see in the house?
My most excited to see in the house. I think I was kind of excited to see Kyle. I don't know why. I just felt like I would like gel with his personality a little bit. I know he's a little crazy, but I feel like I feel like I could gel with him. Yeah, for sure. And then I wasn't expecting this one, but I highly enjoyed Big T. She love
hilarious Big T on this show. So
she's pretty funny.
We call her Queen T on our show.
We're some Big T stands here. So
nice. Yeah, I love Big T.
What about CT? If you watch the old Real World shows, I'm sure you at least knew of CT even maybe before watching shows in quarantine. Did he live up to your expectations, or what was it like meeting CT or being around CT?
It was cool. I actually like CT a lot. He's definitely calmed down from past seasons before, and he's kind of like I don't know if he's gonna hear this, but I mean he is kind of like an older guy. He felt like the uncle of the house. But yeah, CT was pretty cool. I remember the first person that I saw before I got in my hotel room. I was in the lobby, and I walked past Wes, and I instantly remembered
like,
who he was from the other shows before. So
from way back when.
I remember seeing Fessy in the lobby too. But I know that he wasn't as vocal, I don't think, last season. But this season he's kind of like all over the place. So
messy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a draft group that we run, and every time his name just gets said, everyone's like Messy Fessy. That's what he's known as this season. So so it sounds like everyone, kind of gelled. You were excited to meet, see all these people, or, kind of used to the crowd. Was there anyone that you acted or you were around that didn't act as you expected? they were a little, maybe had a bigger personality than you expected, or maybe a little smaller personality than expected?
You know what? I was actually quite surprised at how quiet Nani was.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I
Tell Kylie all about Nani, because she loves Nani. She has a
I have
girl
a girl
crush on
crush.
no,
Nani.
I love Nani in the house.
I have
You
a
know,
girl crush on Nani. So
we sat down. We found ourselves like early in the morning. We would be one of the two people who woke up like super early in the morning, and I would always see Nani like in the kitchen, just kind of like standing there drinking coffee, looking out the window and stuff like that. And we always had our like real life like conversations. So I highly enjoyed Nani. I wasn't expecting her to be as quiet as she was, but I mean, I liked it. It was,
Yeah.
I felt
Especially
like,
if you watched last season, because she's throwing her ramen noodles at Anissa.
yeah.
And then drunk fights.
I think there's
Yeah.
probably like 2 levels of Nani, like normal, everyday, super chill Nani, and then like drunk Nani. And drunk Nani is on another level.
Yeah.
All right, so we did
relate to that.
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah.
drunk Trisha that she's a different person than, you know, regular Trisha.
Yeah.
Patricia is what I call her.
All right, so we did see you partner up with Gabby, and we get this little, you know, touching scene of y'all whenever you're telling her that you're going to be leaving. So what was it like being partners with her?
It was really cool. You know, it's such a shame because they didn't really show the relationship that me and Gabby had on the show. We were super close, like on the show. I felt like we were definitely kind of like best friends, like in the house. I feel like we related to each other a lot. And I would always say in the little confessional interviews that if I had any other girl in the house, I would probably like lose my mind. Like
Yeah.
Gabby felt like the most normal out of everybody, like in the house, and I felt like I could kind of get away from the game a little bit and just like chat about some real life stuff. So highly enjoyed Gabby as a partner. I know at certain times she would kind of get down on herself, and she felt like she was gonna like disappoint me in certain challenges and stuff like that. But I felt like our communication was really good. We never really disagreed about a lot of things. Funny thing though, I did see watching it back that she voted a lot different than I voted in the secret votes, but it's all good. Well, we got along
always
together.
voted differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she kind of had her own thing going on. So I think that the thing that sticks out the most, unfortunately, we didn't get to see a whole lot of you, but what did you think about basically the wrestling match on top of the 18-wheelers? Because that, I think everybody was like, oh shit, he's legit.
I was super excited when I found out what the challenge was going to be. As soon as TJ said, we were going to be wrestling on the top of a truck, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm winning this. Like there's no way that I'm not winning this challenge. But then I had to like factor in other things. And at the time when TJ was kind of explaining the rules to us, how we were going to be on there, and the truck was going to be moving at 60 miles an hour, and we weren't going to have a harness on. I didn't really like think about it that way. I was just thinking, all right, I'm going to wrestle like on top of a truck.
Yeah.
But as soon as it was time for me and Gabby to compete, it like started like pouring down raining. And I was just like, oh Lord, this is going to kind of mess up my game plan a little bit. And then once I got on top of the truck, I don't know why I thought it was going to be like a high school wrestling mat on top of there, but it was just solid wood. And it was soaked from all the rain. And I was just like, oh, this is horrible. So, I instantly like changed my game plan as soon as I got up there. I was like, if I try to stand up with Darrell, he's probably going to just kind of like chuck me off of this truck if I lose my balance from the truck just moving. So my game plan was to just, have a strong enough base in order for me to not get thrown off. Like at first I was thinking, I'm going to try to get him off the truck. And then it quickly turned into, I'm going to try to just not get thrown out.
I'm on
Right.
the defense.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought it was so funny because obviously Darrell has quite a bit of size on you, and he was like, "I thought this was going to be so easy," and he's out here busting out moves that and I don't even know what's happened.
Yeah, Darrell pretty much said, like, he was like, I don't know how to like respond on some of the things that you were, I guess, doing to him. He wasn't quite ready for.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was pretty funny. I love Darrell though. He is incredibly strong, incredibly strong. I had my doubts and my worries while I was up there.
Yeah, that's great.
We believe you because he was saying that you were pushing him just as hard back. So you were no easy match for him. And we've seen Darrell perform in these challenges before. So it didn't make it easy on you.
Definitely.
If at the beginning, I know, TJ was just like, hey, okay, y'all are going to pick a partner. So I'm assuming, you and Gabby didn't really know each other prior to this. If you, however, TJ went in a captain's pick and you got to see the whole lineup, knowing what you knew before you went in the show only, who would you have picked, do you think?
I think
the hard questions.
Yeah, it is the hard question. Although I liked Gabby as a partner, I feel like if I would have known everybody, like their strengths, their weaknesses, and kind of talked to them prior, I think I would have kind of picked Casey. I feel like she's kind of like low key enough where she's not going to cause any drama and put a target on our head, but she's also, she's pretty smart and she plays like a really good, quiet, like political game, and she's strong too. So I definitely think that probably would have been my pick if I had enough time to process what was going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Casey, I mean, agree that she is while she's not the most entertaining character on the show, she is definitely always in a good spot. No one ever wants to send her home. And like she's pretty much friends with everybody there. And she's also, I mean, she's pretty well physically as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
sorry, Kylie, I was like looking at you. I'm sorry.
I didn't know what was happening over there. All right, so let's get into your departure. You can share as much or as little as you feel comfortable with. So just, tell us how you were feeling in that moment.
I feel like there was
2020
emotions.
was like 2020 was, me and Kylie, I don't know if we've said it on this show or said it privately, but I know me and her have had conversations about how 2020, if you didn't even have anxiety or stressors prior to last year, you got them last year. So taking 2020 into consideration and then you going on this show, I mean, that alone had to be anxiety. That had to cause stress.
No, yeah, for sure. It was very stressful. But I feel like I kind of expected it a little bit, before going into the house. I didn't think that it was going to be as much of a mental game as I thought it was going to be. I think I was just preparing so much for the physicality of the game. I was like training like a madman, like every day.
Yeah.
Thinking that, that's all it took to, succeed in the game. But man, it hit me. It hit me hard. That was by far the hardest decision that I've ever had to make, for multiple reasons. And I think in that moment of me leaving, and there's so much that wasn't shown before that. I know, like, when it aired, it kind of like looked like I just made the most like sporadic decision, and it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna pack my bags and I'm leaving.
Yeah, but one day I'm out of here.
Yeah, it wasn't like that at all. I spent some time like thinking, about it, and I talked to my partner Gabby about it a little bit. I don't know if you guys could tell, but when she was sitting down with me and talking about it, she was like, she had asked me, did I decide to leave? And I was like, yeah. So she clearly knew that I was already thinking that way. So we talked about it. It was just so many triggers like in the house for me that I just wasn't expecting at all. The last time I was in a situation like that, I know I expressed, that I used to be in a group home when I was a teenager for a little bit. And, the last time I was in that position like that was when I was a teenager. And I didn't think that I would react the way that I did because, it's been so long. I thought that, maybe I got over it or I could handle it now that I'm older and stuff like that. But it just kind of reminded me of, those very awkward times in my life where I went through that. And I think I know that the game is what it is, and there's certain things that you need to do in order to succeed and win the game. But I feel like at the end of the day, like I just didn't have it in me to continuously, screw over and lie to people that I kind of actually liked in the house. It was rough, and I think I talked about this in another interview the other day, but I feel like I was just taking something away from somebody who really needed it. And I think a lot of people liked me in the house, and a lot of people didn't really see me as a threat, as like a life threat. I think I say that because there's two different kind of threats, like in the house. I feel like there's a physical threat, like where you can like actually like mess up somebody's game and get them eliminated. And then I feel like there's like a life threat where there's someone in the game, a part of the show, who's actually coming for your spot on reality TV. And I feel like because I wasn't a reality TV star, I had other things going on outside of the house. And I didn't realize this until I came back home. But a lot of these, guys and girls that are a part of this show, this is their job. This is their life. They go from reality show to reality show to reality show. Like this is how they make their money. And in my case, this was something outside of what I do, so I had it in my mind that, do I have that in me to take away an opportunity to somebody to make, $1 million? Where, and I'm not saying that I'm just going to like leave the house and make $1 million somewhere else, but that is, I do have a chance of doing that in another field. If, I, worked hard enough, I'm not saying that I was on $1 million salary in wrestling, but if I worked hard enough, at least I had wrestling, at least I had something else where I could work towards and potentially make that money. So I felt weird.
It seems like you've thought a lot about this before you made the decision.
For sure. I was talking to producers, and I would sometimes talk to like the camera people, and I'm like, am I like going crazy, or am I thinking rational? Like, it was rough, and obviously the stress of having my wife back at home and just finding out that we were having a baby boy, and this was her first pregnancy, and me being here, like not being there with her, like through the entire process. We just moved to LA. I mentioned this the other day too, which was pretty crazy that, I think a lot of people would understand this a little more. But the day before I went into quarantine for the show, we moved to LA like about a week before that. And we just drove up to LA from Orlando, like in our Jeep, took our dogs and had all of our stuff like shipped like in a big truck to LA. So the day that I left for quarantine, all of our stuff came in the truck. And I was just like, oh my gosh, my like pregnant wife has to unpack
Unpack.
like hundreds of
Unload.
boxes like by herself.
Figure
So
all
that
of this out by
Yeah.
herself.
yeah, and she's from England, so she doesn't have any family here in the States,
Oh,
and
wow.
all of my family is from the DMV area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and obviously with COVID going on, people couldn't travel,
Right.
definitely not that far.
Yeah, that's
Um,
gotta be a huge stressor. I can't even imagine,
yeah,
being in a
it was a
completely
lot
new
of different
place,
things.
no one to help you.
Yeah, it was rough, and so many things contributed to me making the decision of leaving.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're pretty confident in your decision. But today, do you at all regret leaving? Have you, we hear all the time, people come off these shows and they have like these sleepless nights where they regret some of the things that they
Yeah.
did or said. Have you had those? Have you felt that?
When I first got home, I was super traumatized for weeks.
Mhm.
I didn't know it was going to come from it. I didn't know if I, um, was going to disappoint, some people. I actually got home and I didn't even tell I didn't even tell my parents. I didn't tell like my close friends that I was even back home yet because I was just scared. I didn't know how to tell them, hey, I kind of like left the show. I didn't get eliminated. I just left.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to process all of my
Mhm.
emotions and give them like an explanation like right away. So um, and I didn't know how they were going to air my departure. I didn't know if it was going to be like a positive thing or a negative thing. I didn't know once I left, people were going to like start talking shit about me and stuff like that. Um, I don't think I regret it at all. I feel like if I would have stuck it out and, uh, kind of like suffered internally and not said anything, I think a much bigger message and picture would have been kind of swept under the rug.
Mhm.
I feel, and I didn't even know that this was going to be as big as a thing that it was. Like I said, I was so scared to kind of find out. I didn't even want to watch the episode. My wife, encouraged me to watch the episode because I just didn't know. I didn't know what was going to come from it. But seeing all of the positive responses and like the understanding from, so many people that watched the show, I definitely feel like I did the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what we said, I mean, 2020 was probably one of the most stressful years of, a lot of our lifetimes. And to have you on this show to, bring awareness to like this is normal and I've been given this great opportunity, but I've had to take a step back because my mental health is more important. That is such a great message, and I'm really glad that MTV did show and, like, you kinda got, to explain why that you were leaving and that they didn't just
Mhm.
kinda, like, cut you out and that they still kept you as a part of the storyline. They knew when they edited this that, you were gonna do this, but they still you still had a storyline with Gabby and confessionals. Um, and I'm glad that they did that. Of course, we wish we could have got more of you. But I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad that you said what you said in your Instagram post and on your Twitter explaining this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like it was only right to kind of make a statement even after the episode aired, just to, give people a little bit more of it, a little bit more insight of why I made the decision. And, who I did it for and why I did it. And uh yeah, this past year I've been, kind of struggling with separating wrestler personality from, who I am. I, you know, I, it was very difficult to know who Lio Rush was and to find out who Lionel Green was,
Mhm.
and to put that out like into the world. It was very difficult, and I've been, working on just trying to stay as honest and come off as authentic as possible, and show people that you know not all celebrities or personalities or role models to other people have everything put together. Like I struggle like on a daily basis, and I think it's very important to show people that, and to let them know that I'm human. I'm not just this larger than life big personality wrestler that is on TV like every week. um, I'm happy with how everything has kind of played out.
Yeah, I think it definitely humanizes you a little more, and we're thankful for that. I know there's been a lot of positive response to your message that you've put out there, and I mean that is hard whenever you're this big personality. You have to be a huge personality in the wrestling world to make it like you did, and to separate those two must be very difficult. But bringing us all to that human level and reminding us that you're a real person, you have real feelings, and it can even impact you whenever you're doing these, entertainment type things.
Yeah, for sure.
So glad you did that. If you had the chance, however, if you would have won one of these daily eliminations and been on the podium with your partner, Gabby, and you wanted to go in to get your gold skull, what would your ideal challenge have been, and who would it have been against?
I genuinely feel like I was ready for anything and anybody. I was so excited to just be a part of those eliminations and the challenges and stuff like that. I honestly, I really do wish that more was shown on the show, because I didn't know if I was going to be thrown into elimination, but every single day that there was an elimination, I was warming up. I was getting ready, because I thought that I was gonna go in there, and I didn't care who it was against, because I was an amateur wrestler in high school, and if there was one thing that amateur wrestling has taught me, is that anybody can be beaten on any given day. So I wasn't really afraid to go in there with anybody. All of the challenges and the elimination challenges were so different to the next. And I feel like I could have done good in all of them. I feel like, with my experience with wrestling, I feel like there was each elimination I saw, there was a variation of that I've done before sometime in wrestling. So I felt like I could have done good in a lot of those.
And I think we got, that the first episode, and I don't know if this was editing or we can give you this trophy, but I'm about to. I want to give you the Rally the Rookies trophy, because at the very first episode, there's always this mentality. It has existed on the challenge for as far back as I can remember, that when rookies get there, I mean, even in last season and season prior, Fessy comes in here, Casey comes in here, Cam, they are throwing them in back to back. And just because they're rookies, pretty much, these vets have told them, you're going to prove yourself. In the very first episode, we pretty much see you stand up to CT and the group and say, why are you throwing us in? Like, you want to throw me in, throw me in. Like, I'll get my gold skull. But, that really set the tone for Amber, M, Gabby, all of these rookies who we are seeing majority still be there. Liv would have probably still been there had she not been injured. So I'm giving you the Rally the Rookies trophy, but we really saw this very first episode. You had no problem speaking up for everyone.
Yeah, I felt like, I just felt like it was only right for me to do that. And I felt, not that I felt pressured, but I do feel like a lot of the rookies kind of saw me as that person to kind of, stick up for them in that moment. Although, they were kind of attacking Gabby in a sense. That's my partner. If she got thrown into elimination, I would have got thrown into elimination. So, I just wanted to make it known that, I've got my partner's back. And if you're gonna try to make this a thing of like the rookies versus the vets, then in a sense, I'm gonna kind of like stand up for all of us and be kind of the front runner and say, I can't believe that I said this. Kind of just like came out so instinctively, but me saying that, I flip people twice your size for a living.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was one of the best lines of the season. I mean,
it's so crazy because it's like such a picture perfect line, but it's like it was true. But
and that you weren't scared to say. I mean, that's the best part, is that you absolutely there was zero fear in your eyes talking to CT, the legend.
And I kind of like the whole full circle of this because, we get CT going at Terrell Owens on Champs versus Stars, where like CT's like, come on, dude, like, what you gonna do? You blew your millions, like, kind of calls out CT, and to see it kind of come back full circle from someone as a celebrity outside of the challenge world to throw it back onto CT, like, okay, let's see where it's at.
Yeah. That was fun. That was fun. I know a lot of people were probably wanting to actually see me and CT go at it after that.
Yeah, it would have been great.
What was your favorite challenge to do? Like the daily challenges that you guys did, what was your favorite? And maybe what's your least favorite?
Least favorite is definitely flying the drones through the cave.
That was the worst challenge ever.
That was everyone's least favorite.
That was miserable. I didn't like that at all. Not only because I didn't have like full control over the drone. I couldn't see after a certain point, so I just ended up crashing the drone, and
I think everybody.
And then it was freezing in that cave, and the analogs on the controls, it was kind of felt like I was like pressing needles because my hands were just frozen.
Wow.
So that was horrible. My favorite challenge, I think my favorite challenge had to be the one where we had to swim to the boat and take the ice blocks up the hill. It was freezing. It was so cold, but I had a lot of fun. It felt like I was like on an actual little mission. So that was a lot of fun.
We recap every episode, and after that episode, I was like, this episode I'm Michi, because I'm like, get me out of that water. I'm not even participating. So to hear you say that's your favorite is just shocking.
It was very unexpected because, looking at it, it looks like you could have just kind of walked to the boat. It just looked like we were going to be walking to the boat, like in the water. But we took as soon as we got in the water, we took one step and it just dropped. And we were like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
This is a full ass swim.
Yeah. It was pretty shocking. It was very shocking. Yeah.
Takes your breath away. Like,
for sure.
Water's cold.
So we are seeing your music collaborations with some of the guys from the challenge. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was a blast. Super unexpected. I know Joseph was kind of like going around and wanting to meet up with a lot of the challengers from the house, and he just so happened to stop in LA. And me and Jay live out here too, so he just came and shot me a message and was like, "Hey, we should make a song." And we ended up getting a studio session, and we went in there. We had no idea what we were gonna do, but we were just kind of like listening to some beats, and we found one that we really liked, and we were like, we should make a challenge anthem. And we were like, okay. So we started like writing to this song, and he didn't have a lot of time in LA because he was moving on to the next state. But he was like, I only got a couple of days here left, and he was like, we should make a music video to this. So literally, we made the song that first night, and we all decided to get up super early in the morning to shoot the video for it. So we did that, all of that. We did it in less than 24 hours, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. It sounds really good. So we
Thank
were
you.
listening to it before the show. And we were like, okay, this is really good.
We have a little clip, so I'm gonna
Nice.
play it for everybody.
Don't you worry, these things happen all the time. People acting funny when there's money.
People were commenting about the dance moves in that video.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was good. It's a little, it's a little bob, like
Yeah.
listening to that on the radio.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So if an opportunity presents itself maybe in a little bit different circumstances, like a Champs versus Stars or something like that, are you open to coming back to the challenge?
Oh, for sure. 100%. I think, now knowing what the game is, and there's so much that played a factor into the mental game and that added to the stress. I feel like that's why people kind of come back to the challenge year after year after year, because they've experienced it and they know what's to come, and they know when they're going to get those phone calls at home, and they know when stuff is going to happen. So it's easier to kind of just relax and settle in the house. Where on in my situation, I didn't know when I was going to be able to talk to my family members. I didn't know what to expect in these challenges. I didn't know what how things work. But now knowing, now experiencing it, now understanding that it's more of a mental game than a physical game, I definitely think it'll change the way that I play the game entirely. So I definitely would love to do another season.
Awesome.
Let your wife have her baby, and we can be back in the show.
Yep.
What about more music? Can we expect more music from you? Are you working on anything right now?
Yes. I am always recording. I just got a little studio set up in my house, so I don't have to go anywhere. So I'm always working on music. I plan on putting out a project of my own sometime this year. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for new stuff. And if you have only heard the Stone Cold record with Jay and Joseph, I do have other projects before that single came out. So make sure you check that out, on my website, musicbyleo.com.
Okay.
And yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we'll link it in the description.
Yeah, we'll add it to the description. Okay, but I do have a question. What about your wife? Because she looks like Casey Musgraves to a T. I don't know.
Gorgeous.
Know who Casey Musgraves is? I wish I had a side-by-side, because your wife is identical to Casey Musgraves.
Yeah.
Does she get told that a lot, or have you heard that before?
I've never heard that exact name, but I mean, every time we go somewhere, everybody's always kind of like looking at my wife. They can't really tell, they don't really know who she is, but I feel like they feel like she's somebody. Like she looks like she's important in a way. Like she looks like a celebrity. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I'm super lucky. So
yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny because this specific photo was her least favorite photo in our maternity shoot. And I'm like, are you crazy? Are you kidding me? Like, this is like the most picture perfect Mona Lisa-esque photo I've ever seen in my life. So I was like, we definitely have to put this one up. But yeah, she's gorgeous.
It is. She is freaking gorgeous.
Thank you.
I mean, you're not bad looking yourself, but you definitely very up on that one. She is. Well, I did find a picture of Casey Musgraves. I've just got to show the viewers. Like,
Oh yeah, I can see some similarities. I can see why you said that.
Look very similar, but she's gorgeous. And congratulations on the upcoming baby.
Thank
3
you.
boys. I can relate to that. I have 3 boys myself, and
Nice.
it's never quiet at my house. I'm lucky to even be able to do these shows because my house is so loud. Before this, I
Wow.
was muted and yelling at my husband to keep them quiet.
All right. So we do have this comment here from Ani. She says, Leo, you are a breath of fresh air on the show. Your confessionals were the best. Hope to see you in future seasons. So
Well, that is awesome. Thank you, Ani, for saying that. I'm glad that I could, provide that breath of fresh air in the house. I know a lot of, things were crazy, but I'm glad that I was a part of the show, and hopefully I'll be back.
We were glad to have you on the show. Definitely. This cast, I would say this has been one of the best cast experiences so far from the challenge. And to have you a part of that has been great. If you talk to Joseph Allen, I have a few questions for him about his mustard.
sure.
We need to know about the mustard.
We have so many questions for Joseph. So you did a music video with him and you've been on our show. So now we have a connection to him somehow. We got to
Definitely.
boy. No, but y'all go check out Leo. I think it's the Lionel Green on Instagram. Right? Okay. Yeah. So where can they follow you on Twitter?
You can also follow me on Twitter at the Lionel Green.
All right. We will link your Twitter, your Instagram, your webpage. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all go give Leo a follow for all of his latest wrestling happenings and music, because this was the first time I had heard your music. And so honestly, it started and I was like, okay, like this is Joseph Allen. Like we know he's a good singer. And I was kind of like, Jay, like where did Jay come from in this?
Yeah. Okay,
what? So then, you have this little solo part and I was like, oh, okay. Okay,
nice.
A man of many talents. So we were so glad to see you on the challenge and so glad to have you on our show tonight. Thanks for joining us. If you joined us in the chat live, thank you. If you don't forget to subscribe to the Russell Hantz Show on YouTube so that you get a notification every time we go live with our challenge recaps and challenge guests. Also, drop us a comment on your thoughts on tonight's episode and any questions that you have for Leo. And hit us with a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. Don't forget to give Leo a follow on Instagram and Twitter at the Lionel Green. And check out his website, which we will link in the description so that you can have all the latest happenings on his music. And follow us. Don't forget us too at RealiTEA _TRHS. That's RealiTEA _TRHS. And we'll be back on Wednesday right after the episode, providing you with all of the latest commentary on the latest episode of MTV's The Challenge Double Agents. All right, guys. Any last words, Leo? Anything you want to say to the fans?
Yeah, I just want to say, thank you guys so much for, tuning in to, not only this episode on the podcast, but, tuning into MTV to support me, to support, the rest of the challengers on there. It is definitely not an easy thing to go through. And I'm super excited and I'm glad and I'm grateful and thankful that you guys, understood my situation. And, hopefully you guys will be ready for me, or at least the possibility of me, being back on the challenge and, winning that $1 million.
Anyone that's standing up to CT on episode 1, we are here for it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Cheers, and we'll see you all Wednesday. Bye, guys.